Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hey,
What's going on
You-
there?
you
Oh,
were
hit the
touching the
camera.
camera, yeah.
Gotcha.
all right, now we're here.
Welcome back to another Stay Fishy Friday. Hopefully, tonight is a little bit better with the internet quality. Starting to get things figured out with the internet provider. It's a little bit better, but it's not 100% perfect.
And it's all their fault.
They are still sending maintenance techs out, and they've got to do some stuff on their end. So, but at least they've got some sort of decent connection to the house now. So we're only at about 27% dropped, as opposed to
Last week we
like
were 78%
90. Okay.
packets dropped that we were sending.
So this one should be a lot smoother tonight.
You can move over and we can put the chair in the middle. There we go. So welcome, Stay Fishy Friday.
I'm trying to get this pulled up. There we go.
Now, believe it or not, we just walked in the door. Over, you want to go grab you a chair?
Yeah.
We just came in the door from a rescue. Let me see where we're at here. This one here, pop out the chat for me.
Nope, that's your button. You got to go down. There you go.
Pop
There
out
you
chat.
go.
All right, now I can see the chat.
Yeah, so he literally walked in the door 6 minutes before the stream started.
I was like, I called Josh. I'm like, please, can you handle the show? I'm not going to be there in time. So, but I did make it home. We had to go through the traffic and everything, so it was rough. And we got a trailer full of stuff out there and a bunch of fish. So we left the van running. It's running out there now so that the air pump is pumping through the sponge filters and the fish are okay. So after the show, we'll go out there and put the fish away and start unloading the trailer.
And Aaron Cazali says, glad to make another Fishy Friday with the best fish keepers on earth.
Thank you.
There's to you, bud.
And tonight we have a treat. Mara is working, and she's going to be working until 8 o'clock. So we don't have to watch Tracy. She's in there right now taking care of Tracy. Yay, Mara. We've got a new nursing schedule started this week. Actually, where's my phone? I don't have it here. Between Mara and Evelyn, they're working 12 hours a day. So now Sunday through Friday is 12 hours a day. One of them or the other. And they're switching off days so that they can get things done when they're not at work. Then on Saturday, Mara's working 8 hours. So that gives Mara the 48 and Evelyn the 40 hours. So, she's 4 hours shy, but on Thursday night, she's going to work from 8 until midnight to make up. So we've got a new schedule, new hours. I'm working less with Tracy, and I get to sleep a lot more. The last 3 days, man, I've caught up in so much sleep. And even Hoover noticed a difference. He says, you're peppier, you talk, you're louder, and more on the ball.
I know I'm hungry, man.
I haven't fed him since
Rich didn't make me
noon.
no breakfast. He didn't do nothing. He just said, come on, let's go out and rescue.
Yeah, what time did you guys leave today?
He wanted us there at 12:30 or later. So we left here at like 11:45, and it's a 45-minute drive to get to Painesville. And we made it there right at 12:30. I just didn't know, on the way there. He said he had a few tanks and some fish. Okay, and then later on, a week later, he texted me yesterday saying he's also donating his 180-gallon tank. So I'm like, okay, we're driving up, and I'm like, I think it's that house right there, Hoover. It's the next one from the address. I'm like, the garage is open. Oh, dude, everything's in the garage. Cross your fingers. I back up the driveway. We get out. He comes out of the garage, and I'm like, oh, nothing's in the garage. He goes, no. He takes us through this little 32-inch door, immediate left turn, where we walk 2 feet, immediate left turn, we walk 2 feet, immediate right turn, and then it's downstairs. And then all the way to the bottom, there's the 180-gallon full of water with fish in it and stuff. And it was his fish room down there. So he gave us a lot of things, but man, I'm telling you, I worked Hoover to death. He was ready to quit on me.
Well, you guys seem like you got a bunch of stuff out there.
You see the trailer? Oh my God, it's packed. The van's packed too. Yeah, we got 3 brand new FX6s. Nice. A bunch of LED lighting. I mean, he'd been trying to sell off his fish room for a while, and this is what didn't sell. As a matter of fact, the new buyers of the house were there walking through the house. It's that close. He's got to move. So that's why he called us and gave us what's left.
Right.
So
Okay.
nice guy though.
And we got the Fujaka guy, $10. He says, much love. Hope all is well. The Fujaka has slowly stopped wanting frozen shrimp, but tears up clams. What happened with the big tortoise?
We had a whole show about that.
Yeah, so
We took the tortoise to the vets, and he had, what was it called? After 3 days, the vet kept him there and had him on IV antibiotics and stuff. And then 3 days later, he calls me back and said that the turtle has renal failure, and that there's really not much you can do to him. And he put him on another course of antibiotics, and 2 days later, he was dead. He died. So, I mean, we did the best we could. Cost me a couple $100 in vet fees, but I mean, we may have been able to get him to the vet a little bit sooner, but yeah, we don't know, you know. So I don't know.
And about the Fujaka not going after shrimp no more. So here's the thing with fish. If you give them a food that they like more, they will stop eating the other foods because they know they don't have to. If you're going to feed him clams and they like the clams more, they will hold out and not eat nothing else except those clams. Happens all the time when, you know, you break a fish on the frozen and you end up feeding them crayfish for a treat. And now he's got, you know, indulged himself, and now he doesn't want to go and eat this shrimp because why would he eat that when he thinks this crayfish is like a, you know,
and then
great
you're
meal.
scared that he's not eating, so you buy him more crayfish. He's training you very well.
Happens all the time with our monster fish. You know, we'll get people that come over and buy certain types of fish, and the fish like them a lot more than when it comes to give them their, you know, normal tilapia. They're like, screw this stuff.
All right, OBG Foster says, Hoover is he single Hoover is single because he hasn't met me yet? Oh, okay. Wow. And Kathy Apani says, what are you eating, Hoove?
Eating fudge rounds because I didn't get nothing to eat today.
You got to understand, this man carries around a backpack full of Debbie snacks. He knows when the new Debbie snack comes out, you know, at market, he's waiting in line for the new one. All right, let's get on with the Tracy update. Along with the nurses being here, how is the choppiness? Is it better?
It's better.
Along with the nurses being here more hours a week, we've got 88 hours between those two. We've got a new nurse that's going to work on like Wednesdays and Friday nights from 8 o'clock to midnight. So my best days a week now are going to change from Mondays and Tuesdays to being Wednesdays and Thursdays, because I'll have from 8 in the morning until midnight. So that's like 16 hours. It's awesome.
Someone asked, are you done? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
You go ahead.
Someone asked how the Barb is doing. So that video was actually filmed yesterday. We put it out today. Surprisingly, the Barb
doing great.
is still.
I saw him this morning, and he was swimming upright and doing fine and doing great.
I just went out there. He's doing the barrel rolls.
He's still doing the barrel rolls?
Mhm.
Okay. Maybe it's because I just turned the light on and seen him. Maybe he's freaked anything. But anyways, let me finish since I was so rudely interrupted, the Tracy update. We found a medicine that's going to relieve her of being so tensed up, because we've been, doing the everyday motion, range of motion, and we actually been doing it twice. So now, to keep Tracy a little less tensed up, they've got a medication they come up with that's going to be like a muscle relaxer to, instead of her sitting there trying to be tight, it'll be loosened up, because she don't do this no more, but she is sitting there and she'll make her arms straight and and it'll be tight, and you have to bend it hard. You have to bend it, and then she loosens up and it turns easy. Then she goes floppy. We want her floppy all the time, where she's not sitting there with. But I equate it to a Charlie horse, maybe, where your leg muscles cramp up and they're tight and it hurts. I don't want her sitting there, going through that. So we got. I don't know the name of the medication, but Josh has picked it up on his way here, and we'll be giving that to her and trying that out next. The whole dentist thing was a big flop. I told you guys that last week. We've got no new news on that. I ordered a vibrating, thing to clean her teeth, and we're going to do the cleaning ourselves. And until we find, because we're now Mara put into somewheres, it's a state thing to where, you know, for the disabled, they deserve to be taken care of. And since all these, you know, different hospitals and dentist offices won't do it now, she put a grievance in with them. So until that goes through, I found at Walmart they have like if you have a cavity, it's like a cover. And I'm going to think it's something like acrylic nails. You mix it up and you put it on the cavity to where it's not open to the air. And that'll be, you know, of course it'll fall back out in a couple of weeks, but that'll be something we can do now to keep her from having any pain. Because the cavity's right between her bottom teeth and between them on the very bottom. You can't see it, but it's there, and it's right where she, you know, breathes, you know, so, or I feed her foods and stuff. It hits on front teeth first. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to clean them myself because they wouldn't even clean them. I'm going to clean them myself, and I'm going to buy the stuff to cover her cavities for now, until we get answers from the state board of something or another.
Yeah. So we got a question in the chat. Someone's asking how the Stingray babies are doing. So here's the thing with the Stingray babies, okay? So they're to a point to where they are all eating. They're starting to get their color in. So now they're to a point, you know, of maturity a little bit, to where I'm comfortable that we can go ahead and set the other ones that we want to.
Once they reach that point where they're all eating, now we can start feeding them 3-4 times a day. They were living off of the yolk sack that was in their back
pretty much
for a while. So I was worried, but you know, now that they're eating, we can start feeding them, you know, 3-4 times a day because it is a baby, you know. And they'll be doing fine. All we need to do is see them growing and gaining weight, and then we're done. We're great. You know, they're golden.
All four are still great.
They're getting great color on them.
Yeah.
They were like kind of like pale and see-through and like brownish and white spots. Now they're getting more black in the black and then more white in the whites.
That's how BBDs are. They come out. They're, you know, very faded. Their spots aren't predominant. As they start, you know, eating and whatnot, their color will come out even more. And as they get bigger and bigger, their spots will develop even more. And so there's 4 of them out there. I'm tempted to keep 1 and sell 3, but it's still up in the air. We'll decide that at a later date.
The only reason for keeping them would be to use as breeding material. It's going to take 2 years of growing to reach breeding.
Well, you see, the thing with these stingrays, when you have exceptional pups and you have one, you're like, that's a nice ray. You know, you might have some, like someone else might think that's a killer ray, but when you breed your own rays, you always keep the exceptional ones and you grow them out to keep replacing your stock, because at some point, your breeders are going to get too old to produce. You're going to want to keep that, you know, cycle going, but you also, at the same time, you have to keep track of who's the parents. You can't, you don't want inbreeding.
Here's the thing. I remember Mike from H2O Aquatics and all this stuff.
Yeah.
When I bought all my rays to start breeding way back when, and he told me the same thing. You know, as yours has babies, we can trade babies and, you know, renew your stock, renew my stock.
Right.
So if you got friends that have babies or stingrays, and you can do the same thing, you know. If they got good quality and you got good quality.
But I'll tell you what, with stingrays, the thing that matters most is your male. So predominantly, most of the traits come from the male that breeds with your females. So that's why most people spend a lot more money on their male, and they'll breed it with, 10 different females across the board. He can, do one at every
That's
week.
One happy guy right there.
So the dad was exceptional. The mom is very nice quality. So these are some great rays.
The dad was the best ray that we had from Rod and Kevin's stock.
Mm-hmm.
Josh thought ahead. He's like, let's put the best ray male that they have in with our females. And if they get pregnant, great. If they don't, oh well.
And we got 2.
2?
We got 2 pregnant.
Oh yeah, the one that's out there pregnant now that we thought was going to, yeah.
So I thought the brown one was further along than the black one. So we pulled the brown one out, but I've gotten a little worried with her. So we put her back into the best water.
Not only that, she's in the best water, but we've already seen that they have babies in there, and the Arapaima didn't eat them. Well, she may have had more, and we didn't see it. But the thing is, we got the Arapaima in the pool now, so she can have her babies in there, and nobody's going to mess with them.
Right.
The only thing that worries me, there's milk crates underneath holding up that filter. The babies can get in the handles of the milk crates and be in there, and we'll never see them.
They'll swim back out.
Possibly. I would like to get down there with some the pool noodles and take one and just stuff one in there to where they can't get in or out.
Yeah.
Because then, you know what you do? You throw a bunch of guppies in there. They can get in through the crisscross of the milk crate and live inside there and keep breeding and have all kinds of babies. Well, they'll show up in every tank then. Because the filter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what you got with the African cichlids right now. They're in every tank. They're in the 4,000. They're living.
We found them in the 4,400. Yep.
They're in the 5,800, which I don't see them lasting too long in there. There's too many small fish in there that can gobble those
small predators.
Mm-hmm. And someone else asked, how is Bruiser doing? I'll let you take that one.
Bruiser's a trooper. He's doing great. He's sitting over there. He hasn't never made it through the net. They're not jumping. Everything's fine. Arapaimas jump because when the river, it gets up 2 miles wide, and then at end of season, everything's drying up. It leaves patches of puddles, and fish get caught in there. That's how piranha got their name. They're in this puddle, and there's no source of food coming in. So, cow go through there, and boom, 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 they're eating the feet and stuff. All kinds of crazy stuff like that happens. Arapaima are, by nature, they jump when the water gets too small. That's why when you have Arapaimas at home and pets, you have to keep the tops on because they're in a little tank. They think it's time to jump and find a bigger source of water. With us having them in the pool, either side of the net, they're not jumping at all because they're happy where they're at. The small side of the pool is bigger than the pool that we had him in, and he never jumped in that one. So now if we was to put him in I'd say the 3,000, he would jump out of that 3,000 looking for more water. Bruiser.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? It's half the size of the pool he was in.
Possible, but I don't think.
But you get my theory.
There's
if he was in the 580, he'd be wanting to jump.
Exactly.
He's in the dog bone, he'd jump.
I think there's enough room. He would have been okay in the 3,000 and the 4,400 until he put another half foot, possibly a foot on.
Right,
but the problem is, then to get him out, you got to drain the tank and you got to get in there. And this thing is a damn torpedo, and he will mess you up.
A dang torpedo, kids. Anyways, let me get back to the Tracy thing. Every morning when I wake Tracy up, because she has a daytime, nighttime sleepiness, and her eyes are open. She's technically out of a coma. She's in the vegetative state, and she's at the very top of that stage. All she has to do is squeeze my hand. She's done it, but she has to be under, when the doctor calls, the doctor has to do it, and she has to be responsive to him. And then he'll put her to the next level. So right now, she's done it. So every morning when I wake her up, I whisper in her ear to wake her up, because I used to come out here and it's time to, change diaper, and I'd turn on the suction machine and she'd wake up. And I saw that, she'd freak out. So now I start whispering in her ear, "Good morning, honey. It's time to wake up." And I'm down here. Her face is right here. So her nose is up here. And I'm down here in her face. And I'm like, "Love you, honey. It's time to wake up." Mara come walking around the corner. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm talking to Tracy." So I tell her all the time. I had my hand in her hand. I'm like, "Please, honey, squeeze my hand." I do this every morning with her. I try. And I do it during the daytime too, but every morning is the time that she has the most clarity. She's the most there, because she'll turn her head towards me and then turn her eyes towards me too. I hear you. I can see you, So she's that clear in the mornings. That's when I'm trying to get her to squeeze my hand on command. And, she does the eye blinking thing, when she has her moments of clarity. But I'm trying to get the hand squeezing thing down. And she's done it a couple times now, but I wasn't able to confirm it. In other words, every time if I pull my hand away from her, and, here, give me your hand, Josh. Your right hand. Your left. Yeah, your right hand. If we're together and I'm holding her, go ahead and squeeze. And I've got her like this, and I don't pull, and I don't nothing. I just let it lay there. She won't squeeze it or nothing. But as soon as I go to pull away, nope, see how you let go? As soon as I go to pull away, she squeezes harder. Please don't go. but it's not. It's a muscle thing.
This is real awkward.
Stop it. So she grabs on harder as I pull away. So I don't move my hand at all. I lay it on her belly. Her hand's in my hand, because once I put it in her hand, she'll slowly, and then she'll close on it. Okay? And then once I let it on her belly, she relieves pressure. Now, there's where I can tell if she squeezes or not. If I pull away, she's going to squeeze, and that's not an answer. So now I'm laying there. There's no pressure, no pulling, no nothing. She's relaxed as can be. Please squeeze my hand. And every once in a while, she'll squeeze it. So that's what I need to do. Once she does it once, I have to confirm that was because she listened to me. So I want, honey, I hate to ask you, but can you do that again? You know, I need you to show me that you're doing this. You know, you can do this, honey. And, you know, so I need to confirm it. I can't just go, yay, she's squeezing my hand. It don't work that way, you know? So I'm working with her every morning like that. And you know, Mara didn't know what I was doing, you know? Are you licking her ear?
All right, Will Star Mysteries, $10 says, "What's up, my brothers?"
Will Star's here. Hey, buddy.
He said, "Hoover looking like Spanky tonight." Spanky, the drinking word? Question mark. There you have it.
Sure, Spanky's the drinking word. I sent Will Star I saw proof that Bigfoot lives.
Yeah.
And I got a video of it, and I sent it to Will Star. Hey, he texted me back. He was laughing. It was one Bigfoot female with a bikini on dancing to pour some sugar on me, and her boyfriend, the other Bigfoot, sitting in the lawn chair, and she's dancing around.
That's fine. So we got Audrey Sampson, $10. Says, "Food for Rio and other fish. R.I.P. Phoenix Barb. I'll miss you. Thanks so far for caring for him and letting me enjoy him in person and on YouTube." Yeah, you know, things like that happen. You know, it's sad that they're all gone, but they gave us, what, 3 years? And we had already gotten them when they were already above.
They were the biggest
Phoenix
barbs I've ever seen.
Yeah. So that's all we can ask for. But, you know, things like this happen, and now it makes room for us to add more fish into the 4,400. And you'll see as time goes on, the stock will change and things happen.
Well, every once in a while, too, we'll have a big epitome, and, you know, we'll change this or we'll change that, put these fish over here, and then these fish can go to the public aquariums, and, you know, we do things to change things up and make things better for everybody. So, you know, like we may get too many pacu, then all of a sudden they come and they take more than half the stock, you know. Boom, they're off to the public aquariums. And while they were here, they took some Niger cats, some, you know, red-tailed cats, some tiger shovel noses, you know, maybe them barbs over there and these things over here and stuff like that, you know.
Great question from Zaguna Rusuk, however you say that. He said, "I'm going to attempt a giant fish tank build with an 8x4 piece of glass from a table. Any thoughts or tips?" Okay, we've
got lots of information for you.
With glass, most of the time you might get lucky and it's plate glass, but sometimes it's tempered.
You don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want tempered glass.
Which is usually what tables are made of.
Right. So I would check that before, because if you use tempered glass, you put that pressure from the water, it's going to go...
Here's the thing.
Although I don't...
You can do a smaller tank with that big piece of glass and still use it. Right. You know, like have 1.5 feet of air above the water line and then 2.5 feet of water.
Who's this guy over here?
Well, that's Black Mike.
Oh, that's Black Mike. Oh, yeah.
Get on in here. You want to scoot that way a little bit? There you go.
He likes sitting by his buddy Hoobie. Hoobie gives him Debbie snacks.
So yeah, some of you might be thinking that, hey, I go up to Petco and I see a 10-gallon tank up there with the sticker that says tempered glass. Well, on smaller tanks, it is okay, but once you get up to, you know, 125s and up, you stop using tempered glass because it can cause a lot of problems. We're still at 29%. We're good.
We're good. So also now, it doesn't matter from front to back how deep you go or how long you go. If you only got 8x4 and then say you got 6 foot of wood on each side, that's fine too. Let's say you got 7 foot front to back, or maybe even 12 foot. If you've got the room, that's fine. The problem with glass is it's the depth. The deeper you go, the more the glass has to be thicker and definitely not tempered. and like up to I think it's 36 inches. You want at least I mean I wouldn't do it, but ½ inch. I would go 3/4 inch. Just I like overkill. But up to 44 inches, we're using a 1-inch glass, and it's held for 3 years now.
On which tank?
The 3000.
That is not 1 inch. So they technically don't make 1 inch unless it's bulletproof glass. So your standard Starfire glass will go up to 3/4 of an inch. That's the industrial standard. Once you get it above that, either you're fusing two pieces of ½ inch together, like what we have on the 1,000-gallon out there that came from
the mass tank.
Right, that
and
came from the zoo.
Cichlid tank next to it.
700.
The 700.
Which that is not a common practice no more. That's something they used to do back in the day.
We got them from SeaWorld when they closed down. So that was 15, 18 years ago that they closed down.
Right.
So that shows that that's their technology they used back then. But I love the fact of how they make their tanks. It's a wood build covered in fiberglass inside and out, and then it has a fiberglass. Inch. I love that.
Every inch.
Every inch.
And that's what I said. If I ever do another wood build, every inch is covered. You never want to worry about it.
Did you know we got a new tank going by the door coming in where the sturge is?
What's that? We got a 180. We can replace that 150
We're going to replace that 150.
Well, if you put that
today.
If you put that 150 where the 265 is, it should be good. Then the 265 would go where the...
It still had to be saltwater. I'm not changing the whole underside that I built for months. I'm not going to change that out to another tank. That is built. It is done. I am ready to start putting water in.
I was thinking about that tower over there that you guys got with all them little bitty tanks. Get rid of that and put a big tank right there. That'd be pretty cool.
Can't though.
All right,
keep that walkway open.
You go sit in the living room now.
All right, so we got
him been fighting about that for a long time, and you just chose his side.
So we got another good question from Rach. Says, how do you control your breeding program? Yes, inbreeding. So with the breeding program, all we do is
program.
So here's how I do it. So we picked out our best rays, and we got them from all over. They did not come from the same guy over and over and over. I have one ray from here, hand picked. We bought 12 directly from Singapore, had them shipped in. Then out of those 12, we picked
actually sold some of them,
5 or 6, and then we sold the other 6. Made some of the money back.
We get the cream of the crop.
We kept the best of the best because we didn't know, so we picked out 12. And once we got here, they developed a bit. We picked out the best from those ones there. And then, as time goes on, we pick up this ray here, that ray there. This ray was donated, but it's so gorgeous. Let's throw it in with our females. And now here we are. Some of the ones we've been growing out now for 4 years?
Right.
They're now of age. They can breed. You've seen us throw them in there, and they're bigger than our smallest ray in that pond. So now we've got some very nice rays.
Here, how about if I move over a little bit? Move a little towards me. We got Mike sitting in the background over there.
Hey, hi to everybody that's saying hi.
How you move over a little bit. Let Mike up here. He can join the crowd with the adults.
Hello, everyone.
Mike, you guys don't know. He's been around forever. I'm like his dad to him, Yeah. He my son's, best friends for years. We hung out together for many years at the last house. It's been 9-10 years at this house. So I mean, the reason we call him Black Mike is because we had other Mikes. So we had White Mike, we had Black Mike. This way, when we're on the phone, hey, Mike's here. Which one? Black Mike. It ain't like you can't tell. I mean, he is Black Mike. So, but then we had White Boy Mike, we had White Mike, we had Michael.
We had Blacker Mike. Just kidding.
Now you're being racist.
No.
Well, it ain't like you said. We had Crispy Mike. Now that's getting racist, right?
No.
No. He's family. He's cool.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet y'all.
He helps out. He works his butt off when he helps out. And his brother T used to all be over here all the time helping us. Where's he at lately?
Working.
Raising his daughter.
But where? I mean,
Cleveland's still the same.
He's still Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
So he's still working on the Good Time 3?
Yep. Nautica Queen. Woo.
Oh, the Nautica Queen. Oh, he'd have been mad at you. Me, I can get away with it.
So Mike has his own drink. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's asking if you're thirsty.
I
If
see
you like
I'm
a
reading
drink.
the comments up there.
What drink you got?
It's what is
He's
that?
drinking what Josh is
Pink
drinking.
lemonade vodka with
Right.
berry blast Mio.
Oh, well, you ladies have a good time.
All right, so in honor of
Please
Mike
don't do that
being
to me.
on the show, it's his first time meeting Bruce.
Go give it to me like that on the show. Oh man.
I will never be at these white people's house again.
Oh man.
You're funny, Mike. All right, so let's see what else we got. Any fishy questions?
There's been a ton. There's actually been some good ones tonight. I like them. Keep them coming.
Uh-oh. Joel Edelman says, muscle Mike? I hardly think so. He works out with Josh. Can you keep up with Josh?
I'm starting to,
Starting to?
but it's
Look at that skinny little boy.
yeah.
How can you not keep up with him?
Everybody knows he's strong.
Right. He's on the other side of mine. Just today, Hoover's like, I'm stronger than you, blah, blah, blah. I'll take the heavy end. I'm like, no, I got the bottom. You go up backward. I don't like going backwards. I know, but I've got the bottom I can handle. I know I can outlift you. So Hoover going up the stairs backwards with his 180, and then he falls back and he sits down. I'm like, it's all right, take a break. I got this side. We're good.
Oh, my knee.
3 times he sat down on the way up the stairs.
I'll say, carrying that 265 up out of this dude's basement, like he had this.
Do you remember that 300 we carried up? We had to flip over upside down.
It's going up steps with tanks absolutely sucks.
No, wait,
sometimes.
this guy was like 7'2".
Yeah, he was 7'2",
huge
like
guy.
350 pounds, not fat.
I'm like,
he was muscle.
don't worry, mister, we'll
Like-
get it for you.
He looks like Shaq, and he said, "I'm not putting a finger
That's
on
the
it."
guy that gave us that. It was a 265 for $25. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's $20, yeah.
$20? How could nothing be wrong with it? All you want is $20. He goes, I don't want to touch it going out. And I'll tell you what, he did not touch it.
He said he had three bigger guys like his size come over. They gave up. They actually broke the stand in the process trying to get the tank off the stand. And I came in there with my skinny white friend, and he said, "You two are not going to be able to get that tank up and out of that
Wait,
basement."
I'm the one that helped you lift that out of there.
Me and Clinton.
No. That tall guy, I was the one that carried it out with you.
You're thinking of the 300.
The 300,
carried out.
I had to, we turned the tank over upside down. I got inside of it
Yeah.
and went up the stairs like a turtle on my back and my head pushing the front glass.
Yeah.
But we got it up and out. That was a 300 gallon.
And he's like, "Yeah, you
Clinton,
guys."
I'll give him credit. He was pretty strong.
He's like, "You guys are not going to get it." I said, "All right, bet." I'm like, "For one, that rail needs to come off the wall because this tank ain't getting through that door." And I'll tell you, 15 minutes later, this 265 was upstairs and outside in my damn truck.
$20 for a 260, we're going to carry it.
And then I fixed up the stand, and it's been settled up out there ever since.
That's the electric eel tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 300 we carried out was all glass. It was ridiculous.
Wait, there was another 300 where I carried my side and you and somebody else carried the other side. Remember, you put the thumbnail as Rich putting in work or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're carrying it up onto the trailer. I had my side, and you and your buddy had the other side. And we can do this. And we've done this, and we keep doing this. And people are like, there's no way. And, we had 4 guys. Just like up in New York, you saw the 4 guys that were hired couldn't get that, what was it, 240?
240, yeah.
240 out of the basement. And Hoover's sitting there telling them how to do it. He's seen us do it. He's helped us do it. And he's like, I want to say.
Well, they didn't really want to do it anyway. The
Right,
one guy,
they didn't
as
feel
soon
like
as he
doing it.
felt the weight of it, he's like, "Oh, no. Hold on, let me talk to you outside." And he pulled his buddy outside. And next thing I
Shared
know,
signs of laziness. Huh?
I got a scratch here.
Wait.
and
I called my boss, and he said, we can't
And
do
he
this.
said, "We can't do it because if we break it, we'll owe you guys a few $1,000s, and we just can't do that."
Everybody can't lift them.
I tell you what, if me and Josh were there, we'd have got it out of there.
I would have got it out of there if I would have had somebody on the other end. I'm saying to catch the other end of it. I'm saying I didn't have nobody to work with.
Someone asked, what do you think about Zeolite? Waste of money.
Yeah, these are all now they work in certain situations, but they're more gimmicks. Okay, if you don't want nitrites, ammonia in your water, then have a good bacterial filtration. Do your cycle, and then your ammonia will be 0. Your nitrites will be 0. The nitrates you change by changing water. So if you're doing your water regime just fine, you got to see. Here's what kills me. Everybody says, "Well, my neighbor changes his tank, 25% every 2 weeks." You know what I tell you? Screw your neighbor. Okay, your tank is different. Your tank has different stock. You feed your fish different. It's going to be different. So here's how you find out your water change schedule to a T. You have your fish in there. You feed them, okay? You do water changes, 50% water change every day, and use Safe or Prime and, your water conditioner or whatever. And you got them. Now, people say, oh, I will never do a 50% water. We do it all. We do 90% water changes all the time. Don't worry about it. So you do your water changes until you get the nitrates to 0 or 2 or 3 or 5, something like that. Then you feed daily until you do your testing every 2 days until the nitrates reach 40. Now at 40, you want to do a 50% water change and bring them nitrates down to 20. Now, you've used, how long did it take you? 2 weeks? 2 months? However long it was, that's your new schedule. If it was 2 months, then at your feeding rate and the fish that you have in there, it'll take 2 months for these nitrates to get from 20 up to 40. Or no, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. Once you get to 40, you bring it down, you do your half tank water change, you bring it to 20. Then you see how long it takes to get from 20 to 40. Because 40 is where you want to change it. And if it takes a week or if it takes 3 months, that will be your water change schedule. So I hear these people all the time, well, my buddy does it once a week, 50%. You don't have to do that. My neighbor does it, twice a week, 25%. You don't have to do that. What's your schedule? No one knows what I'm talking about. Find out your schedule. It's different than anybody else's. There's nobody, unless by the sheer, freak of nature that you have the exact same fish and you feed the exact same amount, then you can work on his schedule and change at the same time he does his, if he's doing it correctly. The correct way is to do your science and do your water testing and find out what your nitrates are at. When they reach 40, 50% water change, and then wait until you see when they reach 40 again, and then do a 50% water change. And if that's 2 months or 6 months or 1 week, that all depends on your bio load and how much you feed and how many fish you have in there. It's going to be different for everybody. I hope you learned something from that.
So we had a good question. Says, Rates, do you shotgun treat your quarantine tanks? Sometimes we don't even treat our quarantine tanks. We'll let them sit in that water and look at them and observe them for 3 weeks.
If they come from a good situation to where we're like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
We'll just put them in a tank and let them be alone. And we'll watch for anything breaking out. If nothing breaks out, we're good, But that's very rare. Usually we put them through a week of parasitic medicine, a week of fungal medicine, and a week of bacterial medicine. And those 3 weeks, they've gone through everything that we know now we can put them in with our system. Because you can be a carrier and not sick with it, and we don't want that to get into our system because now we got to treat 125,000 gallons. And you know how much it costs to treat that? Every other day? We don't want that.
Someone asks, going from a 75 to 1,000-gallon stock tank, any tips for things to look out for when jumping from smaller tanks to a much larger setup? So the first thing you're going to want, what would it do? You got more water, you're going to want to load it down with fish. Have patience. Make sure your filters can keep up.
Don't load it down with fish because you're putting into a bigger system and then you don't have the bacteria there for the fish. He is correct. If you put in 1 or 2 fish at a time, wait 2 months, put another fish in, or so. You're going to go through what's called a mini cycle, and this kills me that people don't know this. Your bacteria, they live by the amount of ammonia that's put out by your fish. You feed the fish pee and poop. That's ammonia. Also, the leftover food that if you overfed your fish sits at the bottom and decays, and that's ammonia. Now, it gets turned into, by certain bacteria, it gets turned into nitrites. Then another type of bacteria has to build their colony up that eats the nitrites and turns it into nitrates. At that point, you'll see, if you're watching your cycle and you put, let's say we start a new tank and we got a cycle going and we're putting in 1 cup of ammonia a day, right? And you're watching your levels and, all of a sudden you see an ammonia spike. The tank's, up into the purple and the ammonia. It's bad.
Why do you see an ammonia spike?
Because ammonia is building up in there.
No. How do you see it?
You have to test.
Exactly. You must test your water.
Okay,
always.
So you test your water, and I'm talking every other day, and you're putting in a 1/2 cup of ammonia. Now, let's just break this down a little more. You can actually pee in the water. I'm not telling you to go do that, but that's ammonia. So you buy ammonia from the pet store, and you put it in there, 1 cup a day or whatever it is. And this is a fishless cycle where you're not killing no fish. You put a cup in there, and then the second day a cup, a third day a cup, a fourth day, same thing. This ammonia is going to build up until the bacteria that you put in there starts growing. Now they'll build a colony, and they will grow and grow and grow. And they're eating. There's abundance of food. They all eat ammonia. They're growing. And then when the ammonia goes down and the bacteria levels up, and now the ammonia is at 0, a lot of your bacteria will die off. And it'll be based on the amount of 1 cup per day that you're putting in, right? And so it'll go up and it'll die off and it'll level out, and you'll have 0 bacteria every single day, no matter how much, or 0 ammonia every day, no matter how much ammonia you put in there, because you're feeding the bacteria. Now there's a second type of bacteria. There's aerobic and anaerobic. Now the second type of bacteria will eat the first type eats the ammonia and turns it into nitrites. Okay. Now, once you got nitrites, you'll see, like, on a normal cycle, it's like 3 weeks of ammonia build up, and then you'll see the ammonia coming down, and you'll start seeing the nitrites rise. And the nitrites will peak next. Then the bacteria that you put in there will start growing, and eventually they'll outgrow, and they will, all of a sudden, your nitrites will be 0. Now you'll have too much bacteria in there, and they will die off until your ammonia level, you're putting in 1 cup a day, levels out, and boom, you got 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites, and now it's making nitrates. That's a cycle. People don't understand this, and it's so simple, but they don't understand this. So you need this bacteria colony to make nitrates. And then you change the nitrates by water changes. And I already told you how to do the water changes based on your feeding habits and because if you feed very lightly and these fish are barely eating to survive, it's going to be a different level than if you're feeding 4 or 5 times a day and you love seeing your fish eat. And they're putting out all kinds of pee and poop and, there's leftover food. More bacteria needs to grow to eat this and turn it into nitrites and turn it into nitrates. Then you're going to have to do your water changes.
So he made the mistake of mentioning 2 different types of bacteria. There's anaerobic and aerobic. The normal fish cycle is aerobic bacteria. Anaerobic is the bacteria that grows in the absence of oxygen, and they feed on sugar.
Sugar, right.
So they will actually take nitrates in the water and eat them. But to get anaerobic bacteria, bacteria,
that was the old school technology. The under gravel filter was pitch black under there, and water was passing through. And actually, under gravel filters were great technology back in the day.
Yeah.
But you clean your gravel and you suck up all the stuff underneath, and you ruin the whole bacteria bed.
You guys are so attractive when you're describing things.
You stop it. We sound like scientists over here, huh?
So, back in the day on, the DAS tanks, they were one of the only manufacturers to put an anaerobic chamber. And to achieve growing this bacteria,
sugar, 3 times a week.
You needed a completely black environment. You had no oxygen, so you're actually dripping in water at a slow rate, and you're feeding it sugar, like he said, and you're actually eating the nitrates out of the water. It is hard to maintain that on a large scale, but Greg Whitstock and Aquascape actually designed something where anaerobic bacteria actually grows deep down in this filter media here. So it is feeding on, nitrates as it's filtering the water. They take about 3 months to grow, but as soon as you develop that natural ecosystem in this pond, that's why he calls it a ecosystem pond, because it's kind of self-maintaining. You see how crystal clear that water is? The only thing you have to do in ponds like this, you have to keep a skimmer on the top of the water.
And plants.
If our pond gets too full and it's not skimming, you will get fish oils on the top of your water.
Your water goes over the skimmer hole and it's too full, it don't skim off the top, and then you'll get that smell, like that Lake Erie fish smell.
No.
It's bad. But here we go. Aaron Cazzoli says, Bigrich finally got his REM sleep. Thank you for that. And then Scott Morrison, you keep talking stuff like that, and you just be banned from saying something. Stop. I did interrupt Josh. Josh interrupts me. We grow with it. I mean, stop it. If you don't like it, don't watch.
Somebody asked about the goldfish that Reaper rescued. I was with him on that rescue, and they're doing okay. There's like 60 or 70 of them.
Yeah. They're doing great. Anybody want goldfish? We got a bunch of goldfish for your ponds. Brittany Zibla says, Aaron, heck yes. Thank goodness for Mara and Evelyn. Love you, Mara.
Yes.
Stephen Mochin says, do you think snail spikes could affect the cycle in smaller tanks? It's possible, but the thing is with snails, so they usually feed on the detritus that are in the bottom of your tank. So what's going to have more of an effect? All that nasty dirt and detritus in the bottom of your tank decaying, or a little bit of snail poop because they're eating the detritus? My theory, I think it's better to have them snails and have the natural ecosystem.
Right, because the poop will get eaten by the bacteria.
Exactly. I think that there will be less of a negative effect, I guess you could say, to where we have snails all over our system, to where they're technically pest snails. We've got ram's horns, all kinds of stuff, and we let them go. They're going to get to a certain size that the colony can maintain itself, and then that's it. If you can maintain your water with that colony there, you won't have you won't be overran with snails. So we keep our snails on the top of the sock table. They grow abundant there.
Yeah.
And inside of our tanks, there's hardly not any snails.
See, I don't understand why people are like, oh, there's snails everywhere. I can't get rid of them. If you want to get rid of your snails, like say one tank is just overgrown with them, they're everywhere. Take a piece of romaine lettuce and put it in weigh it down with a fork or spoon or something. Put it in your tank at nighttime. Wake up in the morning, as soon as you turn the lights on, you grab that piece of romaine lettuce out of there. It'll be covered 100% with snails. You take that out of there, and then you toss them in the garbage or feed them to your puffer or whatever, give them to your neighbor, whatever. We don't mind them. We love snails. They're part of a cleanup crew, actually, in our natural environment, So we don't never have a problem with snails. But if you don't like them, there's an easy way. And then you put another piece of romaine in tomorrow. And now tomorrow it may only be filled halfway, but you see a difference in your tank, You could do that, once every couple months and get rid of your excess snails. People are like, I can't get them. They're in there trying to reach and grab one at a time, Don't do that. Use food as your advantage, Josh, read that one.
I already got that one. It was about the guy upgrading from the 75 to 1,000. He's wanting to use it for stingrays. So with stingrays, you want even more filtration. Just overdo it. You can never have too much.
Just such good water.
And also with stingrays, that volume of water, you might want to consider a drip system. So even though you still have to do water changes, it might prolong your the interval in between water changes just a little bit, and give the rays the best quality of life you can offer them. And with drip systems on a smaller system, I say small, but it's actually a big system for most.
Right.
1,000 gallons is a lot of water. If that goes all over your floor, you're gonna be pretty mad. But with that, you always want to offer your fish the best quality of life, so you can achieve that with a drip system. On 1,000 gallons, you probably want to drip in less than 1%. So I would go with like 10 gallons a day, and you would
Now
be good.
you still monitor your nitrates, and what it'll do is it'll give you longer times between changing things. But if you turn up your drip, you can actually make it to where your nitrates never get above, say 20. And if you reach that point, you never have to water change again.
Okay, the Lasky Life, $5 says, what's the smallest breed of stingray that you might be able to keep in a freshwater 150-gallon tank? Okay, so they sell these things called teacup stingrays and mini matoros, but they're not actually true. A teacup stingray is also known as a reticulated stingray.
Right.
They can the females can get up to 18-inch. The males probably max out around 15. So you have that ray is as wide as the tank. A 150, I'm guessing it's 6 foot long, 18 inches wide, and about 27 inches tall. You have a 18-inch ray in there that's kind of too big for that tank.
Right.
So they sell them as
agree.
teacups to go ahead and market it to everyone who wants a smaller stingray.
Sure, buy this now.
They
Don't
end
worry
up
about later.
flipping people over in the end.
Right. Now, Bucky Dowdowner says, breathe, Rich. Laughing out loud. I'm going to take that as, I was passionate about what I was saying. We'll go on from there. Anyway, Ian says, I just want to do it right. I know at Steve Templar, been watching OFR to get as much information. Well, anything we can do to help. That's what we're here for. That's why the live stream is here. Ask your questions. We'll try and answer with our, and I don't want to sound cocky, our vast knowledge. I'm not going to use them words. I'm going to say our experience that we've used here. Because, when we first started, 20 years ago, we did our fair share of killing fish.
Yeah.
And, you learn from these mistakes and this and that and all of our other, fish people that we are involved with, and then we get to know, and then we learn so much more. So if you've got somebody that's 50, 60 years old, they've been doing fish for 50 years, listen to them, and then also listen to that new guy that opened up that new pet store that has new technology. Listen to him too, and make your choice, on both points, how they do things, because things do change, Like there wasn't a algae scrubber forever, and now there's an algae scrubber. There wasn't a nitrate, scrubber, and now there is.
So the theory behind algae scrubbers, which is kind of what we do in the river system of the pond.
The front pond, mainly.
Yeah, so the theory behind it is if you give a place for the algae to grow and thrive, it's going to eat all the nutrients out of your water.
Where
and
did you learn that from?
Won't be algae in the rest of
Where
the
did
pond.
you learn that from?
Facebook.
You lie. You learned that from Dad, and you know
It's
it's
called experience.
wrong. It's called Daddy told you.
You Googled it.
No, we let everybody with a pond will tell you you get string algae in the spring. We let it grow by the waterfall. I mean, we have a waterfall area and a big, 6 foot round area, and then it overflows and waterfalls down into a stream and then into our pond. We have realized from time that if we let all the algae grow up here by the pond, we have no algae down here into the big pond, So the waterfall algae and all that string algae, it eats away all the nutrients that algae needs to grow because it's growing, and it's growing so big and so massive and so thick. Josh, he was like, oh, Dad, that's ugly. Let's get that out of there. No, let's leave that, and it'll eat all the nutrients. And now down here, we won't have no algae, and we've been doing that every year since. It works great.
And there are other ways to get rid of algae, a.k.a.
UV lights.
Yeah, you can use UVs, but the newest, greatest technology on the market right now is called an Ionogen system. And do you know what that is?
It basically shocks the water.
It's ancient technology revamped to sound more, exquisite. What an Ionogen system is, it is a copper probe, which you guys know copper kills algae. But also at the same time, if there's too much copper in your water, your fish will die. So what the Ionogen systems do, it has a copper probe and it sends a bolt of electricity through and shocks this copper probe, thus releasing copper ions into your water. So if you have an Ionogen system on a smaller enclosed tank,
it's ion, ION,
Ionogen,
Ionogen, right?
whatever you want,
Okay.
but it releases copper into your water. So if you have it on a smaller tank, say a 1,000-gallon pond, you crank the Ionogen system up to 10, you're going to kill your fish. That's why they sell copper test strips. And I'm sure you guys seen a few Greg Woodstock videos, and he talks about this. When he left his pond in Utah, he turned his Ionogen system off because he wasn't home to test it. It's a smaller pond, and he had a algae bloom, so he turned it off. But if you have a larger volume of water that you never have to worry about, copper being in, you turn
Like our back pond.
right. You turn
We've never
that
even tested. We
Ionogen
turn it
system
on,
up.
and it's barely doing its job,
Exactly.
so we don't have to worry about it.
So this brings me to my next point. So people with swimming pools, they live by throwing pieces of copper into their skimmer box because it controls algae. And what that does, as the water passes through, it actually releases a little bit of copper, and it acts as like a sacrificial anode. And
He said sacrificial.
That's basically
That's great.
what it
That's
is.
great. No, you described it great. I
And,
love it.
You
My boy is so
this-
smart. He's
this-
learned so much.
This thing will turn green and nasty, and it's actually good. It's doing its job. So, at the beginning of the season, you take a copper pipe, you cut it in 6-inch strips, throw it in the basket. The copper's never going to get to a point to where it harms humans. It possibly could on smaller tanks, but some people also use that same theory in fish tanks, and it does work, but you have to be careful.
Got Jim up there.
Yes, I'll get to Jim. Jim Sheasley, everyone, $10 says, I'd like to come out sometime in the next couple of days, if that's okay.
Of course, Jim. You come here anytime you want, buddy. You're always welcome here. Joanne and hello says, Big Daddy knows best. That's right, Josh. You listen to this. This is food for thought. All right. Jonathan Saban says, when I clean the biofilm from inside the tank, the fish eat the little bits. Is it okay for them? Of course.
Perfectly fine.
It's the prefab to algae, green algae growing on your tank. My son works for the water department, and he battles biofilm all the time. And, it's on a much bigger basis, type thing. And they can use chemicals that you can't use in the fish tank is the problem. So, they battle, the what's it called? The biofilm all the time. And we battle it here. Our 600-gallon tank that we have the baby stingrays in is the biggest problem of biofilm. It produces. We need more water through. We need another filter on it, and it'll slow down what the biofilm builds up. But because of the amount we feed that baby ray tank and the slowness of the filtration and the amount of water passing through isn't good enough, that tank is our worst problem. So we know that we need to throw another filter on it, which we just got 3 FX6s. We can throw it on there. One more. And then we'll up the water going through it, and we won't have the biofilm problem no more. And, that's what we're looking for is, ease of use and, no problems. Like out in the pool room, our worst problem for algae is that 500-gallon cube. But you've got that netting up or that material up. It helped on that 700 like you wouldn't believe.
The rest of them up.
We do the next one, and that 500 won't be as bad.
Same thing on the 700
Yeah.
and the 1000. I walk out
I
there.
agree 100%.
And the tank's behind the pond at daytime. It's beaming right on them, so we can get them
Right.
3 back tanks looking great. Brittany Ziblis, $20 says, Happy Fishy Friday. AJ from chat would like to know who's Mike's top 5 favorite fish at the
Hold
rescue.
on. She says AJ from chat.
Hashtag
She forgets-
Spanky loves you guys.
She forgets to mention that AJ is her husband.
No. She's talking about AJ, not Anthony. Is two sets of upper
But
people.
he's known on our chat as AJ.
No.
Yeah, let me look on the chat. Oh, I don't have my phone. I swear he's AJ.
No.
AJ Fishroom or something like that. Isn't he? Am I wrong?
You are.
What's her husband's? Remember, because we didn't know they were married at first. Look on the group chat and you'll see his name. Come on, prove me right.
You're gonna be sad because I know you're not going to believe it until you see it.
Kind of new to the whole thing.
Look onto the group
AZ
chat.
Fish Room.
AZ.
And the huge
Got you. My bad. My bad. I was wrong. I'm not. I will admit when I'm wrong. But AJ. Okay. My bad. My bad.
I like the alligator gars, the pacus, the sharks, the stingrays, and the
Oh, you
bats.
just randomly start answering somebody's question without reading their question?
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to give them credit. You know. Who said that?
That was the one y'all was trying to figure out about
That
the
was
AJ
Brittany.
situation.
Brittany's the Bliss
Okay.
asked for AJ.
I like
Gotcha.
the gar as well. The big one that you saved from the small pond. I mean the small tank as well.
Oh my God! I've got
Okay.
something in my eye.
Alligator gar, stingrays. I'm a fan of those too. I'm kind of new to the whole thing, but I'm learning as I go. I like them all really. It's all fascinating to me.
Just like your women, you like them all. Big, little, and small.
Rich's
Don't matter.
Hey.
You like them all.
Rich's favorite
That's
fish is goldfish. He likes
No, I
goldfish.
love my Brutus, my
You
big
like
arapaima.
goldfish. When we're playing the game, I tell you go fishing. You go fish.
So that's Brittany.
So you like goldfish.
Time for a nibble shot.
So Savage asked why you guys don't use internal filters. Because they're typically
Too hard
small.
to maintain.
You have a cord you gotta plug in. They always end up working. They're more
You
of a
ever reached
hassle.
in your tank and got zapped? That happens to us all the time. We don't believe in any. We don't use no heaters. We don't use no internal filtration. We try never have an electric cord submerged underwater because we do have pacus.
Definitely makes sense. I like the eel as well.
Yeah, electric eel. I'm trying to get Rich to stick his hand in there and play with him with no glove on.
Hey, I will
See if his
to
hair stands up.
tell you, he's packing on some size, and his zap is getting
Who?
stronger. The eel.
Oh, good thing you're not talking about your dad.
We just want to see your hair stand
No,
up. when you stick your hand
I
in.
replaced the pump on the eel tank because the old one stopped working.
Yeah.
And I'm in there messing with the overflow, getting it started, and just coming through the overflow, my hand was in that water, and he zapped, and he got me a little bit. I'm like,
Because you were standing in water.
That's a lot stronger than it was the last time I did this.
He's like, "Ow, that's worse than before." How many times do you get zapped? More than you get bit?
By him, yes.
You want another drink?
And we've got that little
You can bring me
electric
alcohol in here.
catfish that is
I don't trust you to make it.
starting to
That's why I
grow
pass out
up.
the
He's
stuff
packing
like that.
on some weight.
No, I have to use 3 fingers.
I don't know.
3 of your fingers or 3 of Rich's fingers?
They're my fingers.
It's a big difference.
Thank you, Brittany, for that. That was
So,
much
Sid-
I
appreciated.
can flip forward in.
Sydney Ruth says,
That's
"You
it.
guys clean your FX6s." Right online, a lot of people never clean them. You
How
have
can
to.
you never clean them?
So there is a thing
What?
with FX filters. Some people clean them too much, and they're actually doing more harm than good. When you get an FX
Just
filter,
tell them when's the best time to clean it.
it depends
When
on
it
your stocking.
slows down.
So the more dirty the filter is, it's actually cleaning more debris out of the water. So there
More
comes,
bacteria built up and helping things out.
but there comes a point, like he was talking about, that the flow coming from the filter will actually slow down. That's when you want to clean the filter.
I'm sorry, Josh. I'm saying when your filtration slows down, then you know that it's getting too full. And never, never, you know, you can take your FX5 out there. If you've got, the way we run it is nothing but bio balls in the center. We don't use the polishing pad, the pads in the center, because that will slow it down and you have to clean it once a month or something. We just use bio balls in the center, and we just use the big, thick foam on the outside. There's 3 rows of it. That's all we use. So when our filters slow down, say once every 6 months, we know it's time to clean that. We don't mess with the bio balls. We just take the outside rings, rinse them sponges out, put them back in, and put it back together, and then we're done. The bacteria is still there.
Fair enough.
Hey, they call me Spanky. They call me.
You are Spanky. Aaron Cazzoli says, you two correcting each other is very funny to watch. I love the father-son relationship.
Hey, just saying, you know, if we don't correct each other, then someone else will.
Right?
You know? Update on the Jow, Goonch, and Wolffish.
Ooh.
So
I like that conglomeration. I like that. They're all doing great.
So for a while, the Goonch and the Jow stopped eating.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that, yes.
We since fixed the issue. The Goonch is back to hammering food. The Jow is back to his, you know, he'll eat every couple of days. I think we just didn't get lucky with our Jow. He doesn't really like to eat all like that. You might have some catfish that will just eat like gluttonous, and they'll just get fat and eat and eat and eat. Well, this guy likes to stay on the slimmer side, so he's doing all right. The wolffish, he is.
I have to interrupt you. A to Z came on there. Fish room says, "What's my wife doing?" I'm sorry, buddy. It was my misunderstanding. She was talking A to Z fish room. Was that what it was?
She said AJ.
A to J fish room, and I
no,
thought
just AJ.
AJ. Okay, I thought she was talking about you, buddy. I misunderstood. My bad. Your wife's a good girl. You know that.
Ambrose Knows says, "Are you a water treatment operator, Josh?" No, I am a structural engineer for the City of Cleveland's water department. So we basically design all of the buildings and structures for them to treat the water, and we maintain them.
About the 5 mile marker out there.
Basically, anything that has to do with the plants and, you know, the structures, you know, the pump station, stuff like that. We basically design all the projects and get them out and make sure everything runs smoothly.
Thank you, Booby.
No, this is mine right here.
Are you
You
serious?
said bring the bottle, so that's what I did. The bottle, the water,
I thought you brought me something to
and the
drink.
Kool-Aid. Because you said
Oh,
you
look
don't want
at
me
you
to make
go.
your drink.
Look at
So-
this guy. This guy rocks.
That'll be
Got my drink, everybody.
that'll
All
be,
you guys that ever talked bad about Hoobie,
That'll be $9.95 plus whatever.
okay,
Josh and Mike
talk
want
bad
to
about
pay.
Hoobie.
So Jim Sheasley chimed in with another $5. He said their World Pets had the biggest electric eel I have ever seen. He's talking about Joe from Their World Aquatics back when he still had his pet store, and he had a 6-foot eel that he fed like rats to. But we're gonna give old Slow Joe a run for his money with the Tesla.
Slow Joe tried changing his name
Shake it so it don't.
because, you know, he was so slow. He had to buy a brand spanking new Dodge Challenger, was it?
Demon.
The
Yeah.
Dodge Demon. And he had the 1,000 horsepower motor put in and upgrades. And he went to the factory and made sure they made it just right. He's got a what do you call that? The turbo on it. And yeah, he just did a burnout for us recently. And you can hear that sound.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, he was spinning the tires, that's for sure. But you got to understand, them tires are 8 inches wide. They're not, you know, race tires. You can buy them tires and put out pink smoke if you want. You can't do that at the racetrack. Them tires are too wide. They don't come out in that variety. Poor Joe. He's always picked
Water
on.
right there.
Joanne asks, is the electric catfish going to put off more charge than Tesla?
Oh,
Not
no,
at all. So
no.
the electric catfish, they usually top out at around 16 inch.
And they
They'll-
use that for like a depth finder, like a dolphin uses his sonar type thing. or a bat uses their sonar.
Kind of. Once that they get bigger, they'll pull it off a shock, and you'll say ow. But Tesla, they get 6 foot, and they can produce up to 600
I
volts.
saw 6 little Aborigines in
human heart.
Africa with a net, and they were pulling up fish.
South America.
Thank you. And they were pulling up fish, and all of a sudden they saw that they had an electric eel, and then it shocked, and all 6 guys went and fell straight back. It's I'm like, wow, there's no way. And they fell into the water, and they can't breathe. They had to be dragged out of the water. They're out. It was crazy. Thank you, Uber.
People are asking how Laura's doing. She's doing great.
Laura?
She's putting on
Laura.
a bunch of weight.
Did you see the video I put out where I found someone else with your baby's name? You did?
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about that? I told her too. I'm like, you're messing with me. Your name is not Laura. She goes, yeah, it is. I'm like, oh my God, my son just had my first grandbaby, and we chose that name because no one else is named Laura. And she's like, yeah, it is kind of rare. And I'm like, how do you spell yours? And she said, Elora.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, that's different. It's different, but still freaks me out. Someone else had that name right after you just named my granddaughter Elora. That freaked me out.
Yeah, that's actually the way she wanted to spell her name, and I didn't like it.
Oh, really? Hazy fish room still. But what's my wife doing, Bigrich? Love you guys. You guys have the best relationship. I mean, seriously, you guys cook for each other. You guys take care of each other. You guys are great. Everybody should have a relationship like you guys got. Love you guys.
Bucky's asking how the flathead's doing. Does he eat well? Is he growing much? He's growing fine. He's in the 3,000 gallon. He doesn't really bother no one.
Alligator gar, eel,
Sue Ann says Brittany's AZ's wife, right?
stingray,
Someone else knew. I didn't know.
and what's the one called? The big one that came from the small tank that you guys rescued a while ago.
Baku.
And the paku.
That's 4.
I also like the algae.
Yeah.
That was for AJ and OBG
Foster said, would you consider putting some stingrays in the monster pool? I miss seeing them in there. No.
You're like a Brutus.
That's a Bruce. Aaron Gazzoli says, can we give Mike a Bruce, please? There was 2 of them wanted that.
They gave it to me. They gave it to me well. There's a Bruce for you.
Rich said he wanted to be sitting here so I could get you good.
Hey, Spanky, we're trying to have a show here.
Hey, listen here, Alfalfa. I'm trying to tell Buckwheat over here what's really going on.
So AJ asked, how many volts does it take to stop your heart? I don't know the exact science.
Don't give him the answer. He's kind of mad at his wife right now.
AZ, not AJ.
AZ is kind of mad at his wife right
This
after
is
what I said.
AJ.
Oh, AJ. I ain't getting it right.
Thanks, Dom.
But
It's RC.
I do know that the eel at 6 foot can produce 600 volts, which I know is more than enough to stop the
I
heart.
won't be reaching my hand in that tank.
Oh, you drinking, Mike?
Oh, yeah, I had to go get it. Who went to go get yours and his, so I had to go get mine.
Why did you pat his belly when you said he went to get yours?
He said, pat the big guy's belly. What are you covering up for, big guy?
Oh, my arms are sore. Dude, we did a lot of work in carrying today.
Yeah, I hated them steps. There was 14 steps, man. I made probably 15 trips.
Hoover counted them because he's like, you only made 9 trips. I've made 14. There's 14 steps up and down them stairs.
You guys healthy and
Rich is
safe?
down there looking at the pile, talking about, yeah, there's some more right here. Could you take this up and put it in?
Oh, I was working down there. I was emptying tanks. I was, stacking up all the lids in a box. I was working down there.
He was stacking stuff up here. Take this out there.
You're gonna get another nut tap.
Bringing that joy all day.
Okay, Brittany Zipless, $20 says, okay, Big Rich, now's your chance for redemption. You can't mess this up. Dave from chat wants to know how the arapaima from the pool pond is doing.
Oh, you got to ask Brittany's husband, AJ. How about that?
Oh man, don't ask. Oh man, why are you going
She
there?
said I can't fuck this up.
Oh
I
man.
can't.
Oh, swear jar.
Oh my god, I can't believe
Swear
I
jar.
I can't believe I just
quarter
said
in
that.
there.
My bad. Children never say that word. That's bad. Oh, I stuck myself in the mouth hard too.
Yeah, you should have.
Okay, I'm sorry, Brittany.
Here, I
Thank
know
you
you're
for the
so
20
broke.
bucks.
I'll let you borrow a quarter.
Yeah,
You
you
got to
should.
put a quarter in there, though, man.
Oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Wow.
Hey, we're all not perfect.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, Brittany. Thank you for the $20 though. Thank you. You're precious. You and your husband have a great relationship. Everybody on this planet should pray to have what you and your husband have. You guys are great
When
together.
are we going to take
No,
it?
they cook for each other. They take care of each other. They're there for each other.
I just want to
They're
know.
good people.
That's
I
right.
just want to know when are we going to take a vacation. I want to go to the South Bronx.
You were just at the South Bronx.
No, I want to go in the South Bronx. I
You
wanna
were there on the
literally go
side
in.
of the highway.
Yeah, I was on the highway. I want to go to the South Bronx, though. When can we make that
So
happen?
to answer the question, the arapaima in the pond is doing okay.
He's doing
She's
great.
actually feeding
No, I
in
went
there.
out there and they were both face
Yeah.
to face through the nets.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "What's up? What's up? Nothing. What's up with you?"
Brittany says I sound like a trucker.
Ambrose asks how's the new Tiger Muskie doing? Actually doing good. I got him on prepared foods, and he's actually starting to stack on the weight.
We'll let you answer that question, Josh. Rusty Shackelford.
It's not a question; it's a statement.
Well, okay.
He said, "Rich, you must have been the greatest dad in the world to your family, man. I can tell.
Yes, he was.
You was a good dad."
No. Why was I a good dad?
He was a real good dad because he always gave me something to munch
Shocking.
on.
No, seriously. Tell him,
Come on
Josh.
up.
Was I ever gone?
Everyone on this planet has a different definition of what they think the best dad is. So, what in your definition?
I tried to be the best dad I could be, which means I spent all my time with my kids. Right? Did I not?
Yeah.
I always had you guys go-karts, dirt bikes, go-peds. You know, even when you were just little kids with wagons, I hooked up the riding lawnmower and hooked like 10 wagons together and did a train down the driveway.
You guys
down
had
the
it
street.
good. He won't even get me a bike to ride to the corner and back.
Now, when you got into dirt bikes, did I not have you? You had an XR70 and you were small. Did I not have you a CR125 wicked-ass dirt bike waiting till you grew into it in the garage? Yes, I did. Look at Mike. Mike's like, I'm jealous.
The only reason
Now, once you got used to that 125, did I not have you a CR250 waiting?
Yeah.
Mike's like, say he didn't. Say he didn't.
Been
And
around
did I not go
15
riding
years,
with
I
you?
know.
I went riding with you. I spent all my time with you guys. I did everything I could for my boys to get ahead.
Yeah.
Was I never not there for you?
No.
So, what kind of dad am I?
Good one. Great one.
Good one.
REAT.
All right, Dad. Fine, I'll say great.
There you go. There's a good one. Can I take you to some good food spots out there, Hoover? Yeah, you can always take me.
Oh my
somewhere
God,
good to
you
eat.
will have Hoover fall in love with you if you feed him. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
Even Mike knows. He's like, he gets all touchy and feely when you bring him Burger King.
Hey, you didn't even eat your steak, man. Rich ate your steak, man.
No, I gave it to Josh to
Oh, he
take
gave
home.
it to Josh. There you go.
Josh ate your steak.
Only someone ate it.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to let him go bad because he kept them in the refrigerator. I'm like, Rich, I got you steaks, man. Eat you a steak, man,
Yeah.
for your birthday.
Well, thank you for that, and I appreciate
We
it.
went out at 1 a.m. in Giant Eagle and you denied us.
And then you told us, no, I'm not eating that. And then
On your birthday.
On
and
my
then you-
birthday,
and
I
then-
was too drunk.
And
by
then
the
you
time
ordered
got there.
DoorDash, out of
Oh,
all things. Then he ordered
I
DoorDash.
ordered you guys food?
Yeah.
What'd I order you?
What was Arby's? It was Arby's.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was
Did
good.
it fill your bellies?
Yeah.
yes,
Did
we
you sleep good?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Then
did.
shut the hell up.
Okay, right.
It was pretty good.
I didn't feel like cooking on my birthday.
All right, so guys, we got 10 minutes left on the stream. If you got any questions, you know what to do. Post them in the chat.
Yes, I will not make a mistake like that again. I'm sorry. Ambrosino says, dude, my daughter's watching with me. Bigrich, you're going to have to leave soon. That was a slip of the lip that I never, ever do. I am sorry. And listen, do not say that word. That was a bad word. Bad man. Bad guy. Don't say that word, okay?
Mike Newton says, have you guys ever thought about extending the rescue more for even more tanks?
We have, but, we have built on so many times now for the rescue. We've turned the pool.
Hey, you got to get short.
I'm going to.
That's for the profanity.
For the
He's
profanity.
coming to get you.
Give it to
So anyways, we added on to the pool room and made the fish room. Then we added on to the fish room. Then we turned the pool room into the predator pond room. Now we have a one more addition we can do on this property, and it's going to be 16 by, what was it? Okay, 25 and then 11, 36. So 16 wide by 36 long, but it's going to be 12 foot tall because going down in the backyard, it can be lower. So we're going to cut it out to be 12 foot tall. So from the other room, the fish room, where the angels are, we're going to move that tank. That's going to be an archway to 4 steps down to the new fish room. It's our next on our list. But you know what? We're not made of money, so it's a matter of time. We're going to do that next.
Somebody asked what my favorite meal is. I think my favorite meal is a nice baked potato with some cheese, right?
Yes.
Some sour cream on it, a little salt and pepper, right? And an actual real steak burger with the works on it. Man, and some green fried tomatoes.
I think you and Mike should
That's
be
my
married.
new favorite meal now.
Yeah.
Any sharks at the rescue? The only sharks we have are Peruvian sharks.
Maroon
and
sharks, and they are
iridescent
getting
sharks.
big.
Yeah.
Iridescent sharks ain't really like sharks.
Right.
Maroon sharks are more like sharks because they're meat eaters and they have to keep moving. Iridescent sharks is Schwarzenegger. They sit there and they look cool. But a Peruvian shark, he travels through the water and he's got that shark body in the back. And then he eats meat and he never stops moving, Them 3 in our pool are getting huge.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany said, Big Mike in the background is cracking me up. You better never cuss on the live stream. Never again. Never again, everybody.
Dude, I'm telling you,
I'm telling you, this guy here, he's kind of swimming everywhere.
Hey, look, who disappears?
Oh, yeah, you got a green cap on. You disappeared when I did that. Like your whole face is gone. Your whole face disappears. Look at that.
The headless hoof, huh?
The headless hoof. Dalton Door says, do you need a contractor to do the work? We have friends that are contractors, but you're more than welcome to send your buddy here and give us a price. We can use that when our friends give us their price, and we'll go with the best worker.
Problem is, right now, materials are so expensive, so it's not really worth it to hire a contractor right now because the material prices are absurd. We paid, what, 30 grand for the last edition? Now it'll probably cost like 50.
45, I'm saying, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll go $10 under, but I want cash. Cash and carry.
Jason Fuller says puffers changed their frozen shrimp and now they don't seem to be eating it as much. So yeah, sometimes you can change a food and the fish will just say, no, I'm not going to eat that. It could be different types of shrimp, could be different types of fish, and it just happens sometimes. You can try going back to do the old one.
See it?
Wow.
Yup.
That's 5 minutes.
Got him. He walked away.
Got him!
Get back over here.
Got him! Got him! Got him!
I saw the question and walked away. I knew what was coming.
He give you a kiss on the nose there, Josh.
I feel like Michael over here is going to start going for testicles.
You'll have to watch everything.
All right, everyone, simmer down.
Brittany Ziblu says, my husband does the funniest Hoobie impression. What does he do? Start eating all the Debbie snacks in the house?
Hey, you should see Rich at night. I'm saying at night, he's got all kind of trash around the bed where he eats stuff and just throws it.
Oh, you're a
He
liar.
misses the garbage can all the time. I clean up in there all the time.
Nice rolls.
Swiss rolls, peanut butter bars,
Liar. Liar. I
Cake.
have not eaten none of that in months.
donuts. He had an apple fritter. He was like, man,
You're a liar.
I can't eat this whole thing.
For honey buns.
Would you? Oh, yeah,
Oh, I
honey
would love
buns.
me some honey
Yeah,
buns.
honey
I
buns.
don't eat them.
See,
I haven't had any in like at least 6-8 months.
Is that what was
Liar.
in your boots, honey buns?
You can talk shit all you want, but I have not eaten any of that garbage.
Mara caught you with the honey buns. Mara, how'd you catch me? You had a drink in one hand and a honey bun in the other one.
AZ Fish Room says you still got to let me know what steel you need for the Stingray grout tank on top of the Paku tank. So we've decided we're going to get rid of that tank. and we're going to
got rid of the
replace
other
it.
tank.
We're going to replace it with like a 6x4 or 6x3 because the 11x4x1 I think is just too much weight up there. That's, 300 and some odd gallons. You times that by, say, 10, and that's a lot of weight. So that's where I think we stand on that one.
Yeah, the Bonnie says, Hoobie didn't have a head for a second.
What's your oldest fish at the rescue?
That would have to be Schwarzenegger. 24 years old?
Nope.
Who's that?
The oldest fish we have at the rescue would be the Adonis pleco.
Really? How old is he?
He's over 30.
I like the
Really?
rolls.
Hey, watch this.
But the longest
But
fish that we've
we
had,
had is Schwarzenegger.
I'm gonna
We
tell-
had him since he was like, 12 inches, and he's 23 now, 24.
I'm going to take my hat off because what happened was I was outside and I wasn't moving the tank right, and Big Rich hit me with a 2x4. See the boo boo on my head, right there in the middle.
This one?
all right, last 2 minutes. Let's look for a good
They
question.
said Mara honey buns.
Where we at? I'm looking, guys. Someone asked, "What's the dimensions on the pond behind us?" It's a little over 25.
No.
Yeah,
Look at the
I see.
There's no head.
That means you can't see Brutus
A
coming.
little over 20 wide, 45 foot long. It goes from 3 foot to 12 foot deep. Where we at? Where we at? Got one more question. We got 1 minute. Someone asked, could you take the shed that's out back and convert it into another fish room?
We could, but we really don't want to. We want all of our stuff located centrally, and the way it is now is the cheapest way we can run it. To put something elsewhere on the property, we would have to now run a new heater, a new air conditioner, a new dehumidifier.
So that means you're going to put the fish out there in my apartment? You didn't even ask me.
All right, guys. So that brings us to the end of the show. We always enjoy hanging out with you guys. This was actually a great show. Lots of great questions. So you guys
We had a lot of good questions tonight.
You guys are going to have to come back next week with even better questions.
With even better internet. Because
Yeah.
right now we're running on 1280 by 720 resolution. As we get better internet, because Breezeline bought out Wild Cable and it went to hell.
Yeah.
And now it's getting better every week, and they're building more and more stuff and replacing stuff. And as it gets better, we can bring it back up to. We had it up at one time 3360 by like 2300 or something like that, and very, very good resolution.
Bud Light is our favorite